Hi everybody, welcome back to another episode of my Dungeon Boss rune crafting series. Today I'm going to go over some red power runes, and we're going to talk about the skill loadout and what we're ultimately looking for there. So at the start of it, I'm going to apologize to begin with. I had a really great set of audio recorded. I recorded a nice live video, and then it turns out my microphone was plugged into the wrong jack. So I'm now resorting to doing voiceover to a previously recorded video. We'll rectify that for the second half of the video. I did re-record some stuff live, so we'll get to that in a second. So the purpose of rolling my red power runes is going to come down to Koros here. Pretty much have gotten on the Koros train and pretty much going to copycat to everybody else using Koros teams. So I'm not going to claim to be the inventor of the Koros team. I'm also not going to suggest who actually was, but just know that Koros is the new Zen PvP. Basically, Zen Kozar has been replaced with Koros and a couple of his cronies. So my goal here is to create some red runes to go with these nice green ones. So I have a greater champion from previous PvP, and then I also have a superior battle rune from just farming, I think. Might have actually crafted it, I can't actually remember. But basically, I'm going to try and beef up his attack a little bit, and he's going to be my one-hit killing machine just like everybody else. So I'm a little bit disappointed that I didn't spend more of my gems on an additional star level for him. Next time he's featured, I'll probably end up just 6-starring him, but who knows, he might actually be nerfed there. What I'm ultimately trying to duplicate with my power runes that I'm going for is actually, I would love to get a little number like I have on Kira here, which is my secret weapon as far as PvP goes. And part of the reason why I kill a lot of people and they don't see it coming is the power rune that I have on here has got plus 10 damage to PvP, which is just absolutely amazing. So combine that with some champion runes, and it's pretty amazing. So if you can imagine having 3 of these greater power runes with plus 10 damage and then have 2 of the greater champion runes, you got yourself a killing machine, the likes of which the game is just not prepared for. Fortunately, when we go into crafting, let's take a look at our runes here. When we go into power runes are what I'm going to focus on today. If you look at what they can generate, there's no tooltip that suggests what it actually is here. So battle runes are also good runes, but the reason we skip battle runes is because of the possibility of getting resistance. Resistances are just absolute killers of runes, and you certainly don't want to be wasting the few little bits and pieces of superior stuff that you have on something that's going to yield a terrible rune. If you remember my superior planning rune, those were decent expenditures of my resources there. So if you look at just a lesser one here, I just wanted to show you that you're a lot of times going to get resistance. Now in this one here, I actually didn't get resistance, which is actually pretty surprising. But to waste the few bits of superior shards and stuff you have and binders on something that might give you a bad rune is just incredibly risky unless you can farm those. Currently there's no way to farm red binders, so those are really hard to come by. So I'm hoping for anything that has 2 attack stats as far as a superior rune goes. If I don't end up with a nice rune early on, then we ultimately have to scrap this rune because we can't justify the gems on something that's going to yield dodge chance. Dodge is just not going to be worth it for me on these runes here, and I can't commit the gems to leveling up something that doesn't have 2 attack stats. So if it was attack, dodge, sometimes people will use those. But the dodge really takes away, especially if you would have gotten like a critical or a plus damage on there. Those are really tough ones to determine if you want to use. So basically when crafting a power rune, these are probably the most popular runes that you're going to create as far as that attack goes for glass cannon. So basically when you're building these, determine how much you want to spend on gems first, because it's not just the gem cost, but that is going to be a major component here. Because if you're going to tune this up, a greater rune I think is about 750 or 800 gems to totally tune if you're going to commit to the entire thing. On top of that, you're looking at roughly 3 million gold to upgrade it. And then on top of that, if you end up cycling through and scrapping a few of these, you also have to consider the materials cost. So, like, in addition to just the shards and binders on this superior rune, we're also dealing with those shadow spirits and elemental essences. And those by themselves aren't difficult, but they require bits and pieces of other materials to actually create. And it's kind of just pain in the ass to actually do that because you have to sit and farm other little levels and actually get them. So my starting point here, I would have liked to have it start higher because I would have liked to see the third stat right from the beginning. So now basically I have to commit gems to it just to see what the third stat is. So it's kind of like wasted gems. So ultimately you're probably gonna have to spend a little bit to see what you're working with, but that's kind of the name of the game here. Obviously, I don't like wasting superior power runes, but I also don't want to level something up. So remember, if this was attack, I would probably commit to the full 1100 gems to upgrade it. But we upgrade it, and we get a dodge chance. So this was basically a deal breaker. Even if that dodge chance was leveled up to the max and we get it to 5-star legendary, the best we can hope for is just a few percent dodge, which for Koros, I'm not looking to dodge stuff. So when I pulled my resources, it looked like I had missed one of the shadow spirits, so I actually skipped to the greater power runes here. And we're actually going to build some of these. Remember, you can't get the fourth stat on power runes. The one that I had on Kira was a reward from a previous place, so we can't actually duplicate that. So ultimately what we're looking for is attack like this rune is here. So this is a good start point, so now we can basically, even if it ends up being dodge, we can commit to the full cost. Because it's not superior, we can pretty much go for it. And it's not going to be as many gems. So we just start tuning here. And spoiler alert, because like I said, this is a voiceover instead of a live recording. It does not go legendary. In fact, none of my stuff went legendary tonight, which is quite the cold streak for me. Usually when I commit to the 1,000 gems, I'd been getting legendary runes all over the place. And I guess that was just beginner's luck to start with, because almost everything I crafted ended up being legendary and getting those extra stats on there. But I guess those days are long gone now. So it's probably because I had a ton of gems. I had over 9,000 gems, so the AI or the computer or the game, whatever you want, has it out against me and basically wants to spend my gems, and I guess that's how it's going to go. So overall, though, if we look at this rune, it's a great rune. Attack, and damage is an amazing rune. I mean, once we level this up, it's going to be pretty powerful. Obviously, the 5th star and legendary would have been a big boost to it, but it's by no means a bad rune at all. Okay, let's do another one here. Sorry for the delay here. I honestly don't remember what I was talking about at that point. I guess I was going off on some sort of a tangent. Said I had some really good audio the first time I recorded it. So this one came up with attack and damage, which again is decent. And then crit. So this is what I would call basically a miscellaneous type rune. So it's basically a mixed bag. And honestly, all three of these are not bad. I have such a poor stock of red runes to start with that pretty much anything is going to be an improvement, short of going through my undead team and stripping off some of the runes that those guys have. I like to keep my undead team intact and just leave the few bits and pieces I have out there, because I use them for farming event dungeons, and it's just too much of a pain to remove that stuff. So being that I want permanent runes for Koros until they nerf him, I want to give him the best of the best of the best. So we'll keep crafting red power runes until the cows come home, until I get something that's worthy of him. But the way that it's going, that might actually take quite some time. Okay, so what I'm doing next here is actually going, when I did the materials, I didn't create enough of the shadow spirits, so I'm just getting a couple more so we can do one more superior rune and try for another decent one there. Ultimately, once you get up to these Legend League and just before Legend, I think Warlord, you have to have some superior runes. It's just, I mean, I'm doing well enough in PvP. I win plenty of matches. Most of the ones I lose, I'm losing to Koros teams, or I'm actually losing because I'm trying to farm Viperia tokens or all these other side quests that say complete X number of PvP with this or that. And so I've been wasting a lot of attacks just trying to get through those. But that's kind of the boat I fall in by not having every one of my heroes at level cap and 6-star. But that's me. I didn't obviously I spent plenty of money on this game, but I was a late spender and didn't really get a ton of heroes 6-starred until later in the game. So remember, none of these actually went legendary, which is disappointing because this one would have been better if it was a legendary rune because of the mixed bag of skills on it again. But it is what it is. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take these and see how we've actually improved Koros now, and see if he's gonna make the cut as far as PvP goes. So if we one of the unique things about Koros is obviously his rune loadout, and I'm not sure if this was done on purpose. I feel like it was. The fact that he's allowed 2 greens makes me just scream the fact that they did this so people could put dual superior champion runes on him and basically make him unstoppable. And that seems to be the basics behind every new hero they put out, is they do that to make either that hero or some other partnering hero unstoppable. And it's not really the best way to develop a game. I mean, obviously balance would be great, but they're out to make money too, and we can't fault any company for trying to make money. And they obviously have a popular enough game, even though the PvP seems a bit questionable at times. So I put 2 graders and 1 superior on them. Basically, we got to upgrade these now and spend a good probably 10 million or so on gold. Being that they're not legendary, they're not going to be the super expensive ones. A legendary 5-star I think costs like 4.5 million to upgrade. So that's the other thing you always have to remember when crafting runes, is keep the gold cost in mind, because nothing like actually getting a really great rune and then finding out you can only get it to level 15. That the very first time runes came out, I lost my gold on the first day because I didn't realize how quickly the cost was escalating. It was pretty funny, but it also set me back quite a bit as far as my rune crafting went. So I learned to rein in my spending, and now I always keep at least a 10 million buffer just in case I get a really nice couple of runes. So looking at the stats, we ended up with a final attack of 4,500. Add another 3% to that if I would have got his 5th star. That would have gotten him really close to 5,000. A lot of people will say that 5,000 is kind of the benchmark for a glass cannon. So I feel like this is going to actually be well enough for him. And actually, we'll do some PvP footage of him soon enough. Okay, after going through that few rune crafts there, I got to wondering, since those power runes don't have 4th stats on the heroic and legendary runes, it got me thinking that I obviously must have gotten that rune that I have on Kira from some sort of a reward. And so then what I remembered is going back out into my quests, I am very, very close to another one of these re-roll quests. So basically, I've whipped together a few more resources for one more greater power rune, because it's going to basically be a 2-for-1, because the reward for this tinker here is actually a greater power rune. So I'm thinking the rune that I get from this here is going to be like what I have on Kira. And so with a little bit of luck, maybe it's going to be a plus 10 PvP. And so some of you, if you've come close to this one, double check and maybe see if you can get that yourself as well. Hopefully you get something with good stats on it. But we're going to go ahead and re-roll this last one, and you can actually see what I actually get with this one. So let's craft away. Hopefully the rune is worth upgrading. I need to tune it 8 times in order to actually get the reward. The quest was just upgrading improved runes. So if you're looking to get a nice rune like this and you can afford to do some improved runes, basically just commit some resources to some improved red runes. Maybe you'll get some good ones. Maybe most of them are going to be junk. But if the reward is a pretty sweet power rune that's going to have some PvP action on it, I would definitely suggest going for it. But I'm not sure that's even going to be what it is. It could very well end up being something absolutely stupid. Hopefully, this rune is worth it in the meantime. So we ended up with attack, skill, attack. It's a great rune to start with. If we can get it up to 5-star legendary, I'll gladly put it on somebody. This would be a good one for a lot of different heroes. But ultimately, I'm more anxious to see what the mega reward is for that other one. Okay, so we got the heroic. That's good. So it's overall a decent rune to start with. So now it's actually worth something. Went through quite a few gems tonight, but that's how you play the game, I guess. God, that's really disappointing. I really was expecting some legendaries, but alright, so let's accept this. Now, if we go to my red runes, just to clarify here, I currently have one legendary rune, and it is a resist rune. So I'm not trying to trick anybody with camera tricks here. Let's go out to my reward. And we're going to claim. So it didn't pop up on the screen what it actually gets. That's why I showed you the runes that I had first. So I'm not trying to mislead anybody in terms of what they're going to get. I guess there's no more red quests. That's kind of a bummer because I would have gladly taken re-roll some greater runes. But I don't know, maybe that one will come with time. If anybody else has gotten another one of those, feel free to let me know. All right, moment of truth. Let's see what we've been bestowed with. So greater power, and it is, well, that sucks. There's no 4th stat on it at all. It's attack, skill, attack. I mean, it's a good rune, but no 4th stat. So that is quite the bummer there. So I guess that other one that I have is just going to remain a mystery, and it's going to be pretty much one of a kind. So if you have a red power rune that's got plus 10 PvP, consider yourself blessed. But that's going to wrap up this video here. If you'd like some insight in terms of what rune you would like to see next, feel free to leave it in the comments, and I would gladly do another video and talk about the stats and the skill layout. Thanks.